Hi, friends. We are going to read a story today about a boy with big, big feelings. So, we are going to take a look at some of the feelings he has and why we think he might have those feelings, because it's important to kind of understand what makes us have those feelings. Okay. So, the story is called, this is the title, The Boy with Big, Big Feelings. And the author who wrote the words is Brittany Wynn Lee. And the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures, is Jacob Suva. Okay, so let's talk about this boy with his big, big feelings. There once was a boy with feathery hair and a heart that was bursting with feeling. His emotions seemed bigger than everyone else's, and sometimes they made him go reeling. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions? Just so many emotions at one time? So here we see a picture of that boy. How does he feel? I notice that he has tears. Do you see his tears? So I think he's sad. What do you think is making him feel sad? Why do you think he's crying? What else do you notice about this picture? I noticed that he's covering his ears. When do we cover our ears? Maybe when things are too loud and there's too much going on? What in this picture could be really loud? See this truck up here? Sometimes garbage trucks or construction trucks, they're really loud and that can overwhelm us. When playing outside on the yellowest days, a loud truck might rumble on by, and wouldn't you know it, that big heart of his would push feelings right out of his eyes. So now we see this boy. What do you notice about him now? I notice he's in bed. You see how he's laying in bed? I also notice that it looks like maybe it's dark outside because the window is kind of gray and it kind of shows that bare tree. The other thing I noticed is look at how wide his eyes are. How would we feel if our eyes are really wide? At night, when the shadows would form on the walls and fear would steal all of his rest, those feelings of his made it so hard to breathe as they jumped up and down in his chest. So his heart is beating really fast. So, how does he feel? What emotion is he feeling in this one? He's feeling scared. Maybe he's feeling a bit of fear. Okay, let's take a look at this picture. What do we notice about him in this picture? With my hands out of the way so you can see everything. What do you notice? So I notice that he's building something with blocks, but then I see them all scattered across the floor. I see his hands making tight fists. Can you make a fist with your hand tight? And I see those red and pink kind of like explosions kind of coming out of his head. How is he feeling? And why is he feeling that way? Do you think he's mad? Maybe he's angry? I think that could be that he was trying to build something and maybe he's getting frustrated or he's getting angry because they're falling over and he can't get them to stack up. Could be one reason. Let's find out. Sometimes when his play had to come to an end or when things didn't go as he planned, the feelings would run down the length of his arms and clench when they got to his hands. So maybe his grown-ups told him it was time to clean up, and that made him feel angry. What do we see here? How does he look here? What do you notice? I notice he has his hands on his hips. He also seems to have a cape. So maybe he is feeling like a superhero, Like he is proud and he's a superhero. And I see these bubbles up here of different pictures of maybe things that he's done. How does he feel? Why does he feel that way? He felt happy feelings as big as the others, from tickles and hide and go seek, and jokes and races and stories and songs that made feelings glow from his cheeks. So he's feeling happy. That. Beautiful things would stick in his brain and not leave him for hours and hours. The fur of a dog, a fluffy white cloud, his mama, a banjo, and some flowers. All those things that you have thinking in your head, in your brain. But when someone he loved had a very hard day, he'd feel he'd been over-equipped to feel all of their feelings as deeply as they, which would quiver right out of his lip. So I think this is his mom. And how does mommy feel? I see those red clouds and those pink. Mom's hand is on her head and her eyes are closed. She's on the phone. I feel like maybe she got some bad news and she's feeling upset. And he sees mommy feeling upset, so he feels upset too. We call that empathy. He feels what other people feel. Have you ever had that happen to you where somebody else is sad and you may not feel very sad for yourself, but you can feel the sadness for the other person? He wondered, why me? Why this big giant heart in a world that's so heavy and kind, where all the feelings under the sun feel as if they were made to be mine? So I think in this picture, he's just feeling overwhelmed with all of those feelings. He had his happiness and maybe some sadness and some anger, and he feels them all at the same time. That can be very overwhelming. So the boy tried to stuff all of his feelings deep down to control what he thought he should hide, afraid that the others would make fun of him if they saw all he felt deep inside. So when you have feelings, should we close them off and keep them inside and don't tell anybody how we feel? No, we should talk about how we feel. Because remember, we keep saying all of those feelings that we feel, it's okay to feel them. If you're feeling sad, it's okay. Tell somebody you're feeling sad and we can help you work through those feelings. Would they think he was weak, dramatic, afraid? Would they call him a wimp or a baby? If they saw the big thumping heart in his chest, would they not want to play with him? Maybe. What do you think? Would you want to play with him? We don't mind when our friends have feelings. But while swinging one day, feeling oh so alone, he noticed a girl feeling blue. Okay, so we noticed this other girl in the story. So she's feeling blue, which means she's feeling sad. Why do you think she's feeling sad? What do you notice about this picture? I notice that he is by himself. Is she by herself? Do you think maybe she might want a friend to play with? He marveled. What's that? Could it be? Yes, indeed. Her emotions were extra big too. He found somebody else who had as much empathy as him. Are you okay? The boy asked the girl. I'm fine. Just sometimes I get sad. He said, you do? I get sad too. I get scared and silly and mad. The two became pals who shared their big hearts, not feeling they had to pretend when they needed to cry or to laugh big and loud, since feelings had helped make them friends. So now they can share together those feelings that they have. As soon as they noticed there were other big hearts in the classroom, the playground, the bus, and they smiled as they learned that it wasn't just them. Big emotions affect all of us. The boy and his friends slowly felt less alone with the feelings that lived deep inside them. Emotions might feel big and scary sometimes, but that is no reason to hide them. So, in this story, we read about this boy who had such big feelings, and he felt more than one feeling at a time. And that can happen sometimes. We can feel happy and excited and proud, and those will be big feelings that we're feeling. We can feel sad and scared and maybe mad, and those can be feelings we feel at the same time, too. But what's most important is that we don't keep our feelings buried deep inside, but we tell people how we are feeling so that we can share those feelings with others.